A little bit. Hello, hello. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello.
This
How are you?
is Leah and Lou.
That would be me, Lou.
And we're here. We just decided that we wanted to just give you all some tips after being married for 30 years.
How many years?
30.
How many?
Too many 30.
Oh my God.
A long time.
30.
Yes.
Wow, 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 wow,
So
wow.
we wanted to share 30 tips from 30 years of love and marriage. All right. So we decided we're going to break it down into 5 years. We might have part 1 or part 2, just depends. But we're going to talk about the first 5 years of our marriage and some of the things that we might cover are finances and jealousy and just how we made it through those first 5 years. A little while ago, but I think that we can remember some things that helped us and got us through those some difficult times and the good times too. We had lots of good times. That's why we're still here today.
Yeah, and the grace of God. Amen.
All right. Yes, we need him every hour, every day, especially in relationships. I think it's important.
Yeah, you really have to start out with God in the mix, because if God's not in the mix, the chances of you being successful are not very good. So let's jump in here. So we're going to do first 5 years. Now that was back in 1989.
That's when we got married. We did only date for a year.
We dated for 1 year, over 1 year, just about, because I got back from overseas in July of '88, and then we started to date soon after. I pulled into Jersey, and then we married the year after. The year after that.
That green dress.
That August. The green dress. Yes, the green dress.
The green dress.
Well, until somebody puts a ring on it, everything is up in the air. Everything is open, right? Well, let's just begin here and talk about some stuff here.
Some of the topics we wrote down that we want to talk about is space, jealousy, boundaries, adjustment, and finances.
Okay, so space. What do you mean by space? Space.
We were excited and looking forward to being under the same roof together. But once we got to that point in our relationship, after we were married, we began to see some things. I just remember the pink socks.
The pink socks. The pink socks. I remember that because my sister gave me these nice, they were Argyle socks. That was the style back then, college prep kind of stuff. And
he was kind of college prep wearing loafers with nickels and
penny
quarters
loafers, in them. Penny loafers. I think they had nickels in them. Penny loafers with nickels. And I had my suede jacket or
with his
corduroy jacket with my patch on, and I was really prepped out.
A 20-something-year-old man.
That's right.
Looked like he was about 40-something.
And anyway, but I remember I had these pink socks, Argyle socks my sister sent me. And I love those socks. Those are my socks, special socks. And so what happened? What happened with those socks?
One day my feet were cold. So what did I do? I put on Mr. Gilbert's pink socks.
On my socks. My
socks. Did he get an attitude with me?
I was like, wait a minute, those are my socks. What are you doing wearing my socks? Again, this was like the first couple months of our marriage. And
it was a Christmas present. We got married in August, so it was a few months.
So it was a few months after. She gave them to me for Christmas, I think. and just the idea of what's mine. When you're coming together as a couple, luckily we were both young when we got married, so we didn't have a lot of stuff to kind of bring with us, but I still had things that were mine. The idea of being selfish, not wanting to share, and having somebody else impede in your space. And so that was an issue for a little bit, just getting to know each other, and kind of living in and around each other's space. Things I like, things she liked.
How you liked your things, very orderly.
My things,
and I was not that orderly.
Very orderly. I liked to come home, for lunch, and come home and have the table, spread, or the table set, and the house clean, all those kind of things. Not that she didn't do that, but I was very, very particular about that, and especially with things that I thought were my stuff, my socks and my my jacket and things like that, and just the idea of sharing with somebody else. Again, this was 31 years ago, whatever. The idea of sharing my stuff, and so that was an initial obstacle. I think we had to come over. We had to get over.
I think we got through it. That was the one thing I really just remember, and then I guess too. I don't know. That's the main story, I guess, because we moved a couple times. We lived in an apartment, then we moved on post, McGuire Air Force Base.
Yeah, in New Jersey, McGuire Air Force Base.
The apartment was exciting. We had our little furniture, but then we moved to on post, and
and we graduated to bigger furniture.
Bigger furniture, we had baby furniture.
We had baby furniture. I mean, little furniture from this
used furniture.
I don't think it was used.
Yeah,
it
we
was
got
just,
some stuff from Georgia.
We did get some used, but the couch we got, it was just a small, almost baby couch we got from this discount store, and it was cute, but it wasn't very sturdy.
And then remember the bedroom set that you had to get out of layaway that I had on layaway for about 7-8 years.
You had that on layaway.
And you didn't like it.
And not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't what I would.
It was old-fashioned.
It was old-fashioned wood, bamboo, yellow or something. Mm-hmm. And I got it out of layaway, perpetual layaway. So
yeah, that can segue, I guess, into our finances a little bit, because I know when we first got married, I was not very good with money at all. At all.
Understatement, no.
I used to like to get credit cards and max them out and not pay them, and just living the life.
Yeah.
As a young lady, just buying stuff.
Living at home. And going from one card to the next, one credit card to the next, because they send them to you in the mail. And so,
had student debt, because I did go to school, started school, didn't finish it. So I had that, and then my husband had to come in and...
Well,
he didn't have to, but he chose to help me pay off my debts.
But it was I was, of course, military, and, very regimented, very orderly, very matter of fact, with my money and credit cards and bills and stuff like that. And so I just, kind of came in and helped, helped you with that, and helped pay those things off back then. And
so that's one thing we learned, that, as bad as I was with my finances, he was good with his finances. So I had to learn to trust him and take that lead in our lives and in our marriage, because I probably would have took us down some dark alleys.
Well, I think we had to balance each other. It's all about balance. And we were, very young. We got married, I was like 24. And I was
maybe 22.
22. And so we were just kind of starting out. So we were, kind of growing together. And, the fact...
Establishing ourselves.
And, we were both kind of moldable and shapeable. And so it was kind of easy, because, we, we're infatuated with each other, and so that kind of overshadowed any issues that we had, little things like that, and I said I was good with money, and then so she kind of fit the role of, okay, well, you handle that, and we take care of that.
Right. I was working at the time too, but I still wasn't that good with my money. Even living at home, I didn't have savings, nothing. But Lorena was more of a saver, so
well,
it helped for him to be strong in that area because I was not strong. Some of the other things, finances, I just and then that even goes back to like space and your stuff and my stuff. One of the things that he says he caught me with was a red
Audi, red car. See, red. We still wearing red, right?
Yep. And I love red, so
red, her favorite color.
But when my first car that I purchased was a blue Ford Escort, 4-door. It was not cute at all.
Grandma's car.
It did what
Escort.
it was supposed to do. It was brand new though.
It was brand
and
new.
it was mine.
88, wasn't 88 brand new? Something, yeah.
Yeah, but it was brand new off the lot, and so. We had to learn that in those first 5 years of marriage, we were blessed, and with becoming pregnant, and so we had to make some decisions, things that we had discussed earlier prior to getting married. We talked about what we wanted to do when we did have children, and we were blessed with our first son.
Yeah, and that you wouldn't work.
Right.
For those, when we had children, we talked about that, and we decided that, and that you wouldn't work, and then so that's why we sold that car, sold that blue car, that Ford Escort, and then no, we didn't know we sold the red car.
We sold the red car.
Oh, we sold. That's right. I forget. It was so traumatic because I loved that car. It was a red candy apple red Audi 4000 1984.
He thought he was somebody.
4000 S.
He
Audi.
He was.
And I used to spin around base, the military base, Air Force base with that car, and ride down through.
Back and forth to church.
He
let me use it a couple times
and whatnot, and so don't talk about that. Broke my light in the back, but anyway,
we weren't
so
even married then.
So we sold that car. We sold my car because again, with her not working and having, William, my first son,
your car was paid for. Audi, my car was not paid for.
Yeah, my car. Well, it was. I was making small payments. It was,
But could be paid off.
It could be paid off, yeah. And so I sold that and paid it off because we couldn't make the 2 car payments. But but that's something we decided. We decided, going in, that when we had children that only that she wouldn't work during those first years, and that carried on until the other set came years and years later. And you didn't work when they were young, but and so that helped. But us having, I guess the point there is just discussing some things before we went in and just kind of staying with that plan, and it just happened to work out. Now this was the first 5 years, mind you, we were in the military.
Right.
So from 91, from
89 to 94.
89 to 90, I got out in 95. So
our first year, 5 years.
So the first 5 years.
We moved. How many times we moved from our apartment to base?
To base.
Then we got pregnant with William, and then we moved 6 months later after having William out to Illinois.
Right. We moved to Illinois 6 months after having the first grandchild.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever forgave us for that.
No.
Because he was the first birth, grandchild. And so yeah, that was that I think it was good for us, to get away and learn each other and really experience and experiment with
life together.
With
not so many other people.
With not so many other people in the background.
And me not having the ability to run and hide at my mama's house, because probably that's what I would have did whenever we got into fights.
Right. But so we were. I think it was good that we made that move then. Although again the family weren't too happy. So they would fly out to Illinois every couple.
We got through it.
And we got through that time, and we come back.
Because I miss my family too, moving out to Illinois. But I love my husband, so.
Yes, she did. Mm-hmm. No, I do. She did. We love each other, and so so that was those times. Now, what are we still talking about?
We talked about finances and children and adjusting, moving. So all of those things, because those can be stressful times in your life. Moving across country.
Yeah, moving across country. Her first time leaving home. Mm-hmm. I had been overseas to Japan and different places, Korea, Philippines. Traveling, but I was stationed in Japan, so I was away from home for after high school, went to college, and then military after that. So I had been left home like 4 or 5 years by the time we got married, and she had never left home, and so when we got married, and then the year after, we moved.
And then one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is sometimes jealousy when you first get married. I was at home, a place that I grew up, so I knew a lot of people, not a whole lot of people, but growing up where you, living where you grew up, things and people. And I just remember a story. This was the first 5 years of our marriage, right?
Yeah, it was. Right.
Right. That you go into a store and somebody's going to give you the hookup.
Yes, the hookup, the free food hookup.
The hookup. So I remember going into a restaurant and there was somebody that was working there and he just gave me a hookup. And so I got in the car.
Somebody that you knew, right? You knew, or he just knew you?
I knew him. Mm-hmm. We grew up around the corner from each other. Mm-hmm. And so he was younger than me.
And he gave you what?
All of our food free.
He gave you all the food free.
A seafood place, too.
Seafood place.
Cost a little bit of money.
And so he gave it to her free. And so she brought it home.
No, you were in the car, and I came out to the car.
Or was it home?
You might have been home.
I think I was home.
And then you drove me back to the place to give him back
to the place
the money or the food. It was
went in the store, and I paid for it. And you
made me go back in.
I think I went in.
No, you made me go back in.
No, because I think I went in because I told him, I said, no, pay for it. We're going to pay for it. Because I didn't want anybody, stepping to my wife, even though they knew each other, whatever. But for me, ego, or you're young, you're 20-some years old, somebody trying to do some favors, for your wife, you're like, that ain't happening. So, but now, 30 years later, you can go in there and get all the free food you want. And I ain't going to say nothing. Some old friend, okay, that's fine with me. But back then, again, I guess the growth, I was young, hot-headed, very hot-headed, jealous.
Embarrassing me.
And I'm like, well, no, we're not going to do that. We ain't going to have none of that. You ain't going to be coming around here thinking you're going to do something. She's going to do something because you gave her some food,
He was always very jealous.
And
very jealous. Even in Illinois, I would come home and tell you somebody was following me around the store.
Oh, yeah.
And you would go to the store trying to find people.
I went into the store to try to find this guy who was trying to talk to her. And I walked around through the store. I think I saw him too. And I just said, we doing that. And yeah. And that's, again, that's the thing with growth. But again, you're younger at that time. And, this is, you're macho, And so that's something that, again, as you learn, you grow. And you realize that you just some stuff, just let it go. Unless there's some physical touching or something like that.
And then it's just, looking back and even thinking about it, it's just that you don't want to cause your spouse to become jealous. So you want to do things. You don't want to hide things from them, but you don't want to, you have to take care of stuff yourself. Like somebody stepping to you. Because just like recently somebody on social media tried to, I guess what's happening in the world now, everybody's trying to friend everybody. And so this person friended me on my business page. And I told her about it, but I just defriended him really quickly, because he was asking me, oh, you're so pretty, and da-da-da-da, whatever. But I just had to defriend him, and So I had to take care of it myself.
Right.
So because you don't want to start anything, you don't want to cause your spouse to think that something's happening that is not happening. So
Right.
it's important to be respectful of each other.
Yeah. And again, this was those first 5 years. Even again, things could happen today, but even back then, it was first 5 years. Again, we were both young and hot headed and whatnot.
I wasn't hot headed.
Well, I was, and so.
No, that's not true.
But that's growth.
Depends on what I was hot headed.
Very hot headed. You're a true heart. Okay.
So we talked about space, jealousy, and they're setting the boundaries. About who can step to you, who should not step to how you should respond to someone if they're trying to step to you, because people will try. If you're married, if you're not married,
right. But talking about boundaries, let's talk about the boundaries with family. With the boundaries with family. I remember when we first were getting counseling with the minister, and one of the things he said, and we only really had like 1 or 2 counseling sessions. We didn't go through 6 months or nothing like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we just went like once or twice, talked to the preacher, and he gave us some advice. And he said, keep 3 things in check. Keep your finances, your sex life, and your in-laws. Kind of keep them in check. When I say in check, I guess that's where the boundaries, come in, and coming from where she came from, with her family, very close knit, very close knit.
Yes.
Family, talk every day, even like with her sisters, they talk almost every day.
Even when we fussing or fighting or we don't understand each other.
Right.
But family is family, and we're just gonna.
And like her mom, they would talk every day. Rest her soul when she was alive. I don't. Every week I know, but I know sometimes every day they would talk. And so my background wasn't as close as that.
No. He's getting better now.
We're getting better now, but back then I did my thing, they did their thing, and sometimes we go weeks, months without talking because we were all busy doing whatever, school and I was in the military, but
and that's part of your makeup. That's part of my makeup.
Right, and so me having to
help me set boundaries with my family.
Help her set boundaries. And then even me being okay with, you talking to your mom every day, you're talking to your sisters, or you're close to your aunts and your grandparents. And I mean, this is a big family they have, and everybody just kind of comes together, on holidays and all sorts of things.
Now let's go back and talk about that a little bit. How did you feel entering into this family of mine, especially the Mitchells? I would call them my mothers. That we were very close. There's a big family. We still do gatherings today.
Right.
How did it sometimes make you feel when you were younger?
Well, it never really bothered me because I guess my personality, I'm kind of introverted anyway. So like when you all would come together, you all would be talking and laughing and joking and doing all these things, and I could just talk like when I used to talk to your uncle. Either Cleo or Uncle Vester, and we would just talk, and I didn't have to be in the mix, but I know that was important to you to be in the mix, running with your cousins and laughing and talking, and I do some of that with them, but after a while, I get tired, I go sit down in the corner and talk. Me and Uncle Vester, have conversation, or I'm looking at TV or something, and I was okay with that,
Not always.
Well.
Because you would bring it up. When we go to your family, all you do is get into them and you forget about me.
Well, yeah, you did a lot of times.
And I did not forget about you.
But I think
you just had to find your way.
I had to find my way, through that. But again, like I was saying, with my personality, I can be okay, with that.
And as long as I brought you your plate, you were okay.
Yeah, that's true too. But
you trying to be too cool about that.
But I think. I'm trying to, figuring that out, about you. This was something, you like family gatherings, everybody at the house, everybody,
making a lot of noise.
And again, that's not where I came from. That's not where I came from. It was just, us in the house and and we were in our own.
You
little
guys did
space.
your family stuff too, but not quite as much as
not quite as much as you
we
guys
do.
did, especially back then. We didn't really back then. We do more of it now, but again, back
you
then.
grew up being around your family, but I was around my family because we all lived in the same state,
the same place, but
so it was every holiday, every birthday, family.
Yeah, but we didn't do that. We didn't do that a whole lot of that. Not really.
No, summertime.
And not anybody outside of just again brothers and sisters. But y'all had cousins and uncles and aunts, and everybody came to mommy's sister's house or whatever. And so
summertimes and Memphis.
Yeah. So but I think learning each other's families, and again the boundaries, certain things we handled in our relationship. If we would have an argument, we had to learn. Well, you can't go run into mom.
I don't think I ever went to my mom about an argument we had.
But that's one thing that again I think we had talked about that, and I think looking back, you never really did that, but that's something I think we can pass on.
But I think sometimes my family would know if I was upset, but I wouldn't go so much in details. I was like, he's just getting on my nerves.
Right. And so a lot of times, I see, younger couples today, they may just, run and tell mom everything or tell your parents or whatever, everything, Some things you just got to handle yourself and deal with yourself because you don't want a whole lot of chatter and talk in your ear.
Because you got to figure things out.
You got to figure things out. And so that's, a lot of times we had to do that. We just had to.
And then we were away from my family.
Right. Oh yeah, when we were away.
So being not physically close sometimes was an asset, because I think that if we stayed in Willenboro, I probably would have been running to my mama then more than not.
Right.
But I physically couldn't do that.
Couldn't do that. Take her 400 miles away. That was one of my professors at Southwestern said, when you get married, he said, you're married, Brother Foster. When you get married, move 400 miles away. But I don't know. I'm not saying I just followed that, but that's just
you were in the military, so we had to.
And but still, I think it was good for us to really depend on each other. I mean, she could call, I could call, but it was nobody there but us and William, and so we kind of made our way like that. So.
All right, I can't think of anything else in those first 5 years. I know we lived out there, but we'll probably do another part 2 of the first 5 years and talk about some more, once we start talking and thinking, some more memories and stories might come up. But I know we had moved out but that's just the beginning. Those are some things that we learned in those first 5 years. But I know there's probably a lot more because we were in Illinois at the time. And ministry started. That's when ministry started.
That's the second 5 years starting. Yeah, well,
you were youth minister out
there.
Youth
minister, yes.
So we carried William everywhere around.
Yeah, with the kids.
Yeah, you weren't pulpit minister, but you were youth minister.
Youth minister,
this whole
active,
time, working
full time, 12-hour shifts,
and doing youth ministry,
and then doing youth ministry. Going to work at night, getting off in the morning, going straight to church.
Spending it all day, every day
in church, and then with the youth ministry, a couple days a week. And,
lots of time and energy.
Weekends.
Some of the best times of my life in ministry, I think.
Yeah, it was good.
But we'll talk about some of the things that we experienced with that on our next go around. So hopefully you'll tune in next time and you'll get to see us. And this was our song. That we listened to, and he still uses it.
Yeah.
Uses it how he introduces me. But here it goes. We can't dance really good.
I can dance.
You can sing.
I can dance.
You can't dance. I can dance. I think I can sing too, but All right, you all have a great evening. Good chatting with you. All right, hopefully this will help someone.